Welcome back to day 2 of the 2024 edition of Cypress Conf. This year we have our sights set on shifting to the future. And as we discussed yesterday, this means examining the root purpose of testing efforts and finding ways to be efficient as possible so that our focus can remain on insulating our applications against future challenges. One way we ensure our resilience to the demands of the future is by examining application quality among many different parallels. Yesterday, we examined a few of those. Parallels like test coverage, maintainability, and reliability, just to name a few. We saw how Anthony Brownis and his team over at 90.io was able to save hours and maximize their efficiency by implementing UI coverage. We saw from Shelly and Gilberto, aka the Mexi tester, best costume, honestly, hands down. They told us how they were able to introduce test design patterns that decoupled their test suites from applications, maximizing their ROI on maintainability. Kevin showed us the impacts of unreliable tests and how his team at Zendesk was able to boost their application quality along the stability parallel. Finally, Alice and Jessica demonstrated how observability can be applied not just to app code, but to our test code as well. I don't know about you all, but the content from yesterday really sparked my excitement about the direction of test automation. And as we head into day 2, I am excited to keep this focus on future-proofing our applications through the examination of additional quality parallels. Some of the parallels we're going to dive in today include accessibility, development speed by way of AI implementations, and testing depth through the exploration of a number of different testing types. Before we dive into today's content, I have a couple of quick housekeeping items. We're trying to keep this space shuttle all nice and clean here, right? Reminder to you all that your favorite speakers, they're delivering some awesome content. Let's give them their props. You received a voting link yesterday in the wrap-up email. You'll receive another one this afternoon. We will be announcing those winners after the conference on all our socials, so get your votes in, give those folks their props. Remember that we have partner booths out there. Go visit Shipyard, Assert QA, Ministry of Testing, and Testify Unlimited. Go out there, check them out, and they have some pretty awesome giveaways. And speaking of giveaways, do you want to win some awesome space-themed swag? Well, go ahead and head over to the Cypress booth, post a pic of your of attending the conference out on your socials, and be entered in to win a raffle for some of this awesome space-themed swag. And you got to get this rocket, man. Like, props to our design team, because I think this is some of the coolest conference swag that I've seen in a while. Heads up, winners are going to be contacted via email after the conference. So there's going to be 10 of them. You got a good chance to win. Go over there, visit that area of the conference. We, in this journey into space, do have a code of conduct, so go check it out. It's in the docs pod on every single session. We want to make sure that everyone can enjoy this conference, so if you see something that's outside of that code of conduct, please go to the messages pod and send Megan Amos with the Cypress team a direct message. We want to make sure that we keep this a good, safe space for everyone. Let's go to the agenda now. Let's talk about what we're doing today. So we have a ton of great content, and when you are out there exploring space, you got to have some refuels in amongst that. So we got 3 refuel breaks for you today, including one extended one for lunch at 1 p.m. Eastern. Another reminder for the conference, all sessions are being recorded and they will be out on our YouTube channel after the conference in early November. And then finally, last thing I have for you, remember that all the features that you're seeing from our speakers, they are all available to you in a Cypress 14-day free trial. So make sure that you are out there, you are checking things out. You can go over into the networking area, chat with one of our Cypress team members. They will help you get started. That's all I have. That's all the housekeeping items. Our space shuttle is swept clean. It is time to bring our speaker on the stage. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming our first speaker of the day, a top test automation voice on LinkedIn and a Cypress ambassador, Kailash Pathak. Come on to the stage. We are excited to welcome you. And Kailash, to come on stage, go ahead and click that on stage button.
Sorry, is it fine now?
Yeah, we got you. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Gina. So before starting, so first of all, I want to say thanks to the all the audience who has joined, whatever the time you have actually. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And I also want to say thanks to the Cypress team, especially Megan and Ronald, to invite me in this big conference. Actually, I am excited for this conference, and the topic I am going to deliver is amazing. And I definitely, I assure you, whether you are a beginner or you are experienced, there is something for everyone. Okay. So without doing any delay, let me share my screen. So just confirm me, you guys able to see my screen? Ronald, can you confirm, please? Ronald, you are on mute. Can you confirm? Hello. Okay, okay, great. Okay, okay. So let me quickly share my screen. Okay, so today topic that I'm going to deliver is maximizing the debugging efficiency in CI/CD pipeline with Cypress Test Replay. So basically, debugging is one of the challenging part for everyone, whether you are a developer or you are a tester. So normally the journey of a feature that we develop, it start with like we have a PO and we have a kind of, you can say, we have some stakeholder from where we get the requirement. We start our test case creation manual part, then we will convert those test cases to the divide basically in the smoke and regression. Then we will start our automation. Like initially, once our test cases are ready, we will start the automation part. So automation is, writing the code is easy, but the problem is come basically when we talk about the debugging. Debugging is always challenging, and especially when we have to debug in the CI/CD pipeline. See, we have enough tool actually in the market, but we do not have any such tool which where we can do live debugging in the CI/CD pipeline. So in Cypress Cloud, so Cypress have a that capability. So where we can do our live debugging in the cloud with the help of test replay. So I will demonstrate one by one, and I will demonstrate how we can set up the test replay. What is Cypress Cloud? I will go in detail one by one. This is about me, myself, Kailash. So I have more than 15 years of experience, and basically I have mainly from last 4 to 5 years mainly working in Cypress. And in the free time, I love to write the blog. I love to give the conferences and give to the workshops. So that is about me. I think few of the folks definitely know about me. Yeah. So this is the agenda basically. So I will explain how we can debug in Cypress Cloud with the help of test replay. So before going to the detail, I want to show you some stats basically. So why debugging is so important and how much time and how much money we are investing in debugging. So I tried to find some content in the afternoon. So I got some link here. So that I want to share with you. So if you see this link from this side, depending on which research you look at, developers say spend 20 to 25 to 50 of their time per the year on debugging, right? It means 25 to 50% of developer time not spending on more creative and enjoyable work, right? Another research, there is one more research actually, which is from the Cambridge. Let me quickly show this. This is for the University of Cambridge. So if you see here, the stats, if you see here, so in debugging, basically they are divided into two parts: fixing the bug and making the code work, right? So here you can see mostly 25. We are normally we are investing 25% in fixing the bug, and then we making the code work for 25%. So debugging is one of the basically critical. As I mentioned, everyone can easily write the code, but debugging is one of the challenging part. But yes, Cypress has solved this problem somehow in a better way from if you compare some with the other tools. But yes, debugging, as I mentioned, debugging always is challenging. So I will explain how we can do the debugging very easily in Cypress actually. So before setting the context, so debugging is the process of identifying and analyzing and fixing the bugs issue in software and system. So this is very basic, the definition. So normally in the debugging, we have the four you can say four steps. We identify the problem. So, but the problem is here, like identifying the problem in the local sometime very easy, right? But when the sometime I think you guys have faced the problem like the code is working fine in my local, but when we go to the in the CI/CD pipeline, it's a bit tough actually to debug the code actually. So this is one of the major challenge normally we people actually we face actually, right? So these are the four steps mainly: identifying the problem. We've identified the problem whether it's due to the data issue, due to the locator issue, and it might be the logic issue. Then we analyze the cause, and then we fix the issue, and then finally we verified local, and then we push the code into the CI/CD pipeline through the CI/CD pipeline into our production environment. But most of the time, even everyone actually, as I mentioned, you guys have faced the problem. Code is working fine in local, but when you go to the CI/CD through the CI/CD pipeline in the upper environment, it start breaking actually, right? The reason sometimes it is because we are not able to debug our code properly in the CI/CD through the CI/CD pipeline. Locally we can reproduce it, but in the when we go to the CI/CD pipeline, it's not easy to debug. But as I mentioned, Cypress have somehow resolved this problem with the help of test replay. So let's move to the next slide. Cypress debugging in local. So this is the basically these are the 5 or 6 methods that basically Cypress have provided here. Like we can do with the command logs, we can just put the pause, and we can do with the help of debug method. Then we use the cy.log and console.log. Then we can use the native debugger, and finally we have the screenshot and video actually. So locally very easy, and most of the JS framework that we have in the market right now they have enough capability. We can do the debugging locally because they have provided the good amount of capability. Like Cypress have this type of, and other tools have some other types of capability. But the problem is that I mentioned it comes when we go to the CI/CD environment, or you can say in this case in the Cypress cloud. Suppose I want to execute my test case in the Cypress through the Cypress cloud, and if my test case is breaking, then how I will debug actually? We have option. We have as I mentioned, we have some logs there, but sometimes logs is not enough actually. Debugging in CI/CD pipeline. This is the traditional approach. Actually, normally what we do once we develop our code, we push the code into the CI/CD pipeline, and we start executing our test cases. And when the bug is come, then what we do? Basically, we have the access log, right? We collect the review and log generated to the CI/CD test run. We have screenshot, we have videos that we can capture. But and after that, once we got the logs, and ultimately we have to reproduce that bug in locally. We cannot reproduce that bug live debugging. I mean to say, we cannot do the live debugging in the cloud in the CI/CD pipeline. Ultimately, we have to come to the local environment, and where we can debug our code. What is the challenge actually? Challenge in debugging CI/CD environment, as I mentioned, limited log and diagnostic, no real-time debugging we have in the CI/CD pipeline. Right, and limited access to the sometimes it might be possible, like I do not have the CI/CD access, right? So I cannot do. I have to request to my my manager, okay, provide me the log, then I have to debug in the local. So it's a kind of a tedious process, right? So these are some of the challenges normally we face when we debug in the CI/CD environment, because log are sometimes even we have a screenshot, even we have a log, even we have put some extra log there, still we are not able to reproduce the bug, because we do not have the live debugging in the CI/CD environment, right? If you have a CI/CD environment, then we can do definitely. But here, yes, Cypress have resolved this problem with the help of test replay. So question, how to handle the challenge of debugging in the CI/CD pipeline, okay, with the help of Cypress Cloud. So answer of this question is test replay. Okay, so test replay in Cypress Cloud allow developer to accurately, efficiently debug the failed and flaky continuous integration test run. Will take your testing workflow to the next level. So using with the help, I will explain in detail, and I will showcase you how we can configure the test replay in Cypress Cloud in a few minutes. Okay, so these are the basically benefit of some of the benefit of the test replay. It reduce the debugging locally actually. So we do not need to more depend on the locally actually, because we have a live debugging in the test replay, right? Allow you to rerun individual test case scenario in the CI/CD itself. Offer the detailed insight into what went wrong during the test execution. And over and above that, we have the DOM, we have access, we have a network request, we have network layer access, we have the console access, we have the cookies access, we have the JavaScript error access. So everything we don't need to worry about, like I have to go to the local, then I have to debug all this thing. I can do in the CI/CD pipeline itself with the help of test replay in Cypress Cloud. And no additional cost use this feature if you already have the Cypress Cloud. Before jumping into the test replay, I want to let give a brief basically about the Cypress Cloud, because test replay is the part of Cypress Cloud actually, right? So if you don't have the Cypress Cloud, you cannot access, because this is the kind of its feature of the Cypress Cloud. So let me give a brief about the Cypress Cloud. So what is Cypress Cloud? Cypress Cloud is a cloud-based service that enhance the Cypress testing framework with additional feature or test management, debugging, and collaboration. And these are the some of the features like dashboard. We have a dashboard. I will showcase you the Cypress Cloud. We have a cross-browser testing we can do, flag detection we can do, debugging we can do with the help of test replay. And apart from that, we have Cypress has just introduced two more feature here, like we have UI coverage also there. We have that accessibility testing we can do also there. So they have just introduced few months back. So these are the they have a lot of capability actually in the Cypress Cloud actually, where we can do multiple different type of testing. We don't need to worry about like we have to come to the local, and we can do so many things into the Cypress Cloud. So some of the Cypress Cloud feature here I have mentioned here. So parallelization, definitely we can do parallelization with the help of Cypress Cloud. So whether you so it can take a long time to test the when you run your test case initially, it might take time, right? So but with the help of Cypress Cloud, we have a parallelization. We can divide our traffic into the multiple machines, right? So this way we can make our execution fast actually. Load balancing, this is the good one of the good feature of the Cypress Cloud. So Cypress Cloud do load balancing itself. Suppose I have 15 test cases or 10 test cases. I execute the test cases first time. Suppose in first machine, in the machine number one, suppose first time when I run the first time, it will run suppose 4 test cases, 4 specs file. In second, in third, this way. Second time when my test case is run, so suppose in the first machine, suppose I have 4 test cases and they are taking much time. So what it will do basically in the Cypress Cloud, what it will, it automatically balance your specs file. It will adjust accordingly. Okay, if you're saying okay, machine 2 I have some space, then he move some of the specs files from this machine to this machine and this machine. This way it do the load balancing automatically actually. Specs prioritization. This is the one of the good other feature of the Cypress Cloud. Suppose I have run some of the test cases, and suppose that my test cases, some of my test cases pass and some of my test cases fail. Suppose like as I mentioned in diagram in machine 1, my first test case is failed, and then but what will happen next time when my test case is run and I have enabled this specs prioritization? We have to do the setting for all these things actually. Specs prioritization, we have to enable one toggle button in the Cypress Cloud. It will automatically when my test case run next time, what it will do, it will run the failed test cases, so that it will not take because suppose this test case is failing again and again, so there is no need to run this test case here. So first it will execute my failed test cases, then it will execute the other test cases actually, so that we can save our time, we can save the resources also. Auto cancellation, this is the another feature of the Cypress Cloud. So if my test cases are failing again and again, so what it will do, it will automatically cancel. So when the test failure occurs in CI, it often does not make to send the continue running the remainder of test. Protect valuable CI resources by automatically cancelling the Cypress run after configuring the number of test rails. So we can configure all these things that I mentioned. Auto cancellation we can mention, spec prioritization we can, I will showcase you, and load balancing we can do actually with the help of. So we have to enable some setting for all these things, then we are ready to rock actually, right? So feature and integration with the test replay. So before coming to the test replay, I want to show you the Cypress Cloud, how Cypress Cloud looks actually. So before going to Cypress Cloud, I want to just showcase you how we can configure the Cypress Cloud actually. So I have just this medium blog so that I have created. So if you see here, there are just I think this one. Okay, this one, yeah. So let me, yeah. So here you can see. So we have 4 methods to log in. So you have to click on this URL and we can log in with GitHub or Google or SSO or with the mail. Once we're done, we come to this section. Here we have to create the one project. Like I have created here one project. Then for test replay, I will come to the test replay. So we have to enable this functionality. I mean this toggle button we have to enable, and then if I want to run my test cases into the Cypress Cloud, I have to add this project ID here in my config file. From where this project ID will come, I will showcase you in just a minute. And you can see here basically, by the way, right? But I will show you. And then what you can do, you can create the test cases and you can push your code to the local, and you can also to the CI/CD pipeline. So let me quickly show you the Cypress Cloud, how it looks. Just a minute. Yes. So this is the basically once you logged in. So by default, if I go to my project setting here, so once you logged in, so you can once you logged in, you can see this basically this project I have created, and here the all the latest run is coming actually, and we can in the Cypress Cloud we can analyze basically run status, run duration, right? The top failure and everything, every report is here actually, right? Apart from that, Cypress just introduced two more features: UI coverage and Cypress accessibility, right? And you can also check the flaky test here. Right now, I do not have any test, but if the test case is continuously failing, it will come automatically here, right? And if any test case is very slow, then we can diagnose that test case here. We can see, okay, this test case is taking time. So what the reason behind? And then we can diagnose, because that test case come here, and we can diagnose from this section. Top failure, right? And the test suite size, run duration, right? So all the thing basically total run duration, like, and run status also there, right? So this is the basically Cypress Cloud. And if I go to the project here, so once you logged in, you will see this screen, and from here you can create one project. So I have created this project itself, and apart from that, you can do integration with so many things, like you can select, you can with the GitHub, and you can with the Jira. There are so many integration API here, right? So I have created here the test replay one project here. So this is basically displaying here actually, right? So this is the kind of basically Cypress dashboard, Cypress Cloud dashboard, where you can get all the detail of our of all the test cases, and you can filter by these all these status and all also, right? So okay, so let's come to the some of the test replay feature. So Cypress Cloud is a cloud platform enhance the test replay feature by providing the centralized platform to view the analyzed test result. Test replay allow you to rerun the specific test case scenario, providing the valuable insight into the what wrong during the test case. So I will showcase you in live. So with the help of test replay, what we can do, we have a DOM interaction. We can access the DOM. We can access the network layer, network request, network traffic. We can see. We can access the console log here. We can access the element ending. But assume like that, if you do not have the test replay, we have to go. We have to say, okay, we got the logs from the CI/CD plan. Then I have to come to the my local. But test replay have the great feature, right? I do not need to come in the local. I can at least I can see in DOM what is going on, what is going wrong, in what the if there any network call is failing, we can go to the network, we can see the console log, and so many things. Basically, we element rendering also we can see in the test replay. So I showcase you. Let me quickly showcase you how we can integrate the test replay in the Cypress Cloud. So if you see here in the once you logged in and you have created your project, you go to the project setting. Here there are a couple of setting here, right? So first, these are the keys actually, right? And if you see here, we have this test replay option here, right? You can enable it, and then you are this test replay option will be enable you. I will show you how the test case basically look when we integrate the test replay. Apart from there, you can do the integration with the like GitHub. You can GitLab integration. You can do, right? Bitbucket integration, Slack integration, Microsoft integration. There's I mean, I would say there are a lot of things here we can integrate with the third party actually, right? So for the test replay, suppose, so basically suppose I have these test cases. Let me open these test cases here. So these are the, I have 4 test cases here. I have created just for the demo perspective. So if you see here in the latest one, I had just run few minutes back, actually 2 hour back. So if you see here, I intentionally failed the 2 test cases just to showcase you how it look basically in test replay. So once you click on the failed test cases, you can see here, these are 2 my test cases are failing. And here you can see there is an option test replay, because I have enabled that option, that the reason it's displaying here. Once I click on the test replay, again this specs file, it will open this window actually, right? So here you can see, we can see all the detail. As I mentioned, we can access the DOM. So this is one of the site basically, and I intentionally fail actually. I intentionally enter some wrong locator here. So that is the reason this test case is failing. So first section is the command log. So if you go from top to bottom, here you can see what is happening in the right side. Here you can see. So I am doing all this thing in the cloud actually. I am not doing any in local. So that is the beauty of the test replay of this feature actually of the Cypress cloud, or the Cypress, right? So I have entered the password, whatever. So I can take the leverage of this command. If something is wrong, what the wrong, I can judge from here, from the left side. So here you can see it clearly mentioned like has this locator will not found actually, right? So I am not in the local, I am in the cloud, and I know, okay, that is the reason, because my locator is, I have entered a wrong locator here. That is the reason actually that is failing. So I will just come to my code and just change and then push my code. So I do not need to depend upon my local environment. So that is the one thing actually, right? And apart from this command log, in the right side, if you see there is an error, you can see here in the, like, you can see error, all the errors in the network layer. You can see all the error, and then you can see all the request, get and post, get request basically for this. And here also the console, I intentionally printed some of the console just for the demo purpose here. So I have printed some of the console here. So that is the reason they are displaying here, right? So you can also, if you want to debug in the CI/CD pipeline, you can just put the console. Suppose suppose your test case is failing in the CI/CD again and again, but it passing the local. You can just put the console, and you can see in the cloud itself. You don't need to worry about, okay, I have to come again into the local and all, right? And apart from that, you can inspect from here also, right? So if I shift, so here you can see I can inspect. Like suppose I want to inspect this button here, right? So I can inspect from here, right? So this is the one of the thing. And if I want to inspect any of the basically link from here, right, I can do inspect from. And in the right side you can see all the basically all the DOM is loading here, right? And apart from that, so you can also change, basically suppose you want to change, some color here, right? If you want to manipulate some background color, you can do from here. So in the cloud you are doing all those things actually. You are not depending upon your local, and you are just opening the browser then inspecting. You are doing everything in Cypress cloud, right? So this is one of the basically good thing about the test replay. So you do not rely on to the local environment. Everything you can do here, right? So this is one of the test case here, right? So apart from that, like, let me close this. And yes, this, and apart from that, it test replay, it will give the screenshot here, right? So you can get the screenshot, and it will give the view output also. So we can expecting in the network call, in the console log, that is fine, but over and above this is giving other detail also. Like you can see the output here, and you can see the SSL where it is failing. Everything basically I am seeing here. I do not need to rely on the local basically. So that is one of the basically, I would say, this is the beauty of this test replay. And one more thing here, you can say, as I mentioned, basically, so we can do the parallel execution. So if you see here, I have 3 container here in my YAML file in the line number 18, you can see. So my test case are running in the 3 machine here, right? So you can see if my test case is running, because I have 4 test cases, I am running in 3 machine, it will taking 13 seconds. And the good thing you can see here, it will predicting, okay, if you use the 4 machine, then it will take 9 seconds. So these are all the things. Basically, these are some of the great features. So basically, that will help your text execution part, to avoid the flaky test case, to make your test case stable. So these are few of the best thing about the Cypress. So yes, so this is my YAML file basically that I have mentioned here. So I have 3 container here. So that is the reason basically it's running in 3 machine. If in the previous run I will go, I have run my test case in 2 machine or 1 machine. So it will depend actually in how many machine you want to run. Here you can see in 1 machine it will take 59 seconds, right? So if I run the same test case here in 3 machine here, so you can see it will take around 13 seconds. So this is one of the thing actually. So apart from debugging, these are the some other feature that basically Cypress Cloud provide. So you can just push your code and you can just mention like the container, how many container you can execute, and you can just mention here the record key and GitHub token I have mentioned here. So you can just push your code and it will start executing. And also you can do through the local also from the your record key actually. So this is the record key basically that is here. So I am going to delete after this call. So after this conference, so this is the key from where you can get from here, right? And these are the project ID that you have to mention in your config file actually, right? So if you see line number 4, I have mentioned the project ID. Otherwise, it will not execute in the cloud and in the local also. You have to mention the project ID, and then you can at the runtime you have to give this key actually, right? Apart from that, you can see there are some other feature also. So you can as I mentioned, you can do the integration with a couple of like GitLab or something. I mean GitLab, Bitbucket, right? So Microsoft Team also, and another 2 other features that I mentioned, they have just enabled basically just few months back. Cypress have basically launched UI coverage. You can also do the UI coverage with the help of Cypress, and also the accessibility testing. Yes, so I think all this thing I have mentioned. So you can inspect the console log, manipulate the DOM. So when you test fail, navigate to the Cypress Cloud and locate the failed test cases. You will see the test replay button as showcase you. Click on that button and open and detail view test run, right? Step through the command and analyze. You can analyze the network request. You can inspect the console log. You can manipulate the DOM also. And I think I have seen already the example to you. So that's all from my side. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kailash. That was a great, insightful presentation into your debugging process. We have a couple of questions from the audience that I'd like to bring up for you. So the first one that I'm going to share on screen comes from the audience. This person is a manual test analyst, but interested in Cypress. And they want to know about your experience with learning Cypress and if it was easy to learn.
Yeah, so the answer of this question is very simple. So even if you are from the manual background, so Cypress is very, very easy to learn, I would say, and their documentation is so much awesome, and they have a feature. If you are a totally beginner, and even if you don't know the programming, if you don't know bit programming, basically you should be bit aware about the JavaScript and TypeScript. So you can use they have a tool, Cypress Studio. You can leverage the benefit of the Cypress Studio, and you can start your journey with the Cypress, and it's very easy to learn. And they have a good community. We have a good community of Cypress. We have a lot of YouTube channels. We have even Cypress documentation is very awesome. So it's very easy to learn actually, I would say.
Absolutely. And Kailash is one of our ambassadors. So you might catch him over in our Discord channel. Make sure you head over there and join. We have one more question from the audience that I'd like to share. And this one is wondering if you faced a situation where you've observed a failure in the pipeline, but couldn't reproduce it on your local machine. So when that happens, what is your process for overcoming that?
Yes. This is not only me, actually, I think most of the people normally face. So sometime what happen, everything working fine in local. So, but when it deploy into the staging upper environment, I would say sometime, not every time, sometime test case start failing, right? So here, test replay really helped me here because we are using in my project, I am also using the Cypress. So test replay have definitely helpful here for you. They have as I showcase you some of the commands for the debugging, you can leverage those commands. But yes, over and above, you can take the help of the test replay, and with the help of test replay, you can diagnose in the console. You can take the leverage of network request. You can see in the what is going into the DOM, which network request is failing and all. So definitely it will going to help you actually. Right. So
Excellent.
in my case, basically, I take the help when I'm not able to reproduce. I put the as much as logger in my local. Then I go to the CI/CD pipeline and try to replicate this issue with the console log. I try to put more and more console log, or you can say, I mean console and CY log and console log and debugger and everything. And but in CI/CD pipeline, we can take the level of test replay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kailash. We really appreciate your time and your insights. It is now time for everyone to head over to the next session where you're going to be seeing a presentation from one of the Cypress crew, Mark Noonan. So I will see you over there in just a moment.